How is it going, everyone? We gotta talk more Helldivers 2 update and news notes. Now, knock on wood, it seems like we are out of trouble when it comes to the server issues and the server woes. As of recording this video, it seems like things are working fairly well. Obviously, things are constantly in flux with the game like this. More people are now buying the game. The concurrent player count is going up. We will see where it peaks at this morning. You know, Saturday morning is generally going to be the peak that a game sees, but we'll see where that gets to. However, to not talk about the server woes for a moment, I do want to talk about some other things that might have gone under the radar over the last week or so. First of all, Helldivers 2, as far as the content roadmap and why it's very out of date. A lot of things have changed, obviously, with the success of the game. You guys may remember that it was noted what to expect out of the future of the game as far as new content. That has probably expanded exponentially. We'll talk all about that. Possible DLSS update. Looks like that unfortunately won't be implemented. And to give you guys an idea of how good Arrowhead has been from a support standpoint, an interesting note, a kind of a sad note as well at the end of this video as far as Discord support goes, and hopefully that'll be remedied as soon as possible, but we'll talk that at the end of this video. First of all, Helldivers 2 roadmap is very out of date in comparison to what we want to do now. They're currently working on a new roadmap. Our team is working on it. Our old roadmap is very out of date in comparison to what we want to do now. And obviously, there's going to be a lot more work that is going to be put into this game in terms of updating the game. Remember, that's the big thing about a live service game. It's all about content updates. It's all about keeping that investment level from players. What is the issue with 98% of live service games? They release to a lot of fanfare. A lot of people check it out. Look at something like a Halo Infinite, and that was a free-to-play release back in November of 2021. The multiplayer, that is. And it had a very, very hot start with a lot of people playing the game, but ultimately it tapered off fairly quickly because the content updates just weren't there and they weren't quick enough, and let's just say the player base fell pretty hard. Look, Helldivers 2 is experiencing a great deal of success right now, a lot of success, but we always have to keep it a little bit in check, a little bit level-headed, that while there's a lot of success right now, while there's a lot of momentum right now, and obviously what is paramount is to get these servers at a working state, at a quality state where everybody can enjoy the game. But beyond that, there will come a point, and this is the most exciting element of the game. Forget about the server issues, because we know that's eventually gonna get fixed. The unknown right now is how exactly are the content updates gonna roll out? What is the ultimate vision of this game 6 months from now, a year from now? Especially, think about this. What you're playing right now was the investment level that Arrowhead had into the game, thinking and what they could do with the resources allocated to them. Obviously, PlayStation played a part and certainly supported them, but now they know they have the investment from the consumer. Now they know that they have your support as well. The actual players have shown them a lot of love. A lot of people have spent even more money on the game on the super credits, not even because you need to spend money on the super credits. I always push back on people dropping money on the super credits because the microtransactions in this game are done very judiciously because you don't even have to partake in them. The game's $40. They got your money, and if you do want to drop more, hey, a fair game, that's up to you to decide to do so, but you can get the vast majority of content by just playing the game. But I digress. Now they have all of those resources. The $40 that people have spent on the game, it sold millions upon millions of copies. It's going to continue to sell very well, and now they can pour resources back into the game, also knowing that it's going to have a return on that investment because the base game has already had a significant return on the investment. And what we can expect out of future war bonds. And remember, in this game, war bonds don't expire. It's not a battle pass where that element of FOMO is there as well to try to get you to jump in and buy every single one of them right away so you can get all that content. There's no FOMO attached to this, but future war bonds, future content updates, we know new biomes, new enemies, all of that was said to come in the game prior to the game actually launching. So now that we have all of this great feedback, the doors are wide open for what this game could actually add. There have been opinions thrown out and teases of things possibly, nothing confirmed, but things like planets having different gravitational pulls, which is not something in the game. It was just kind of teased. The CEO just noted there's none of that in the game as of now. The fact he said as of now got my brain thinking a little bit. Also, stuff like added weather effects, rain effects, so on and so forth. All of that stuff has been discussed upon. Obviously, new missions, enemy types, biomes, all of that is going to be coming, but it's really up to Arrowhead and how the community gives them feedback in terms of what they're going to implement, and it's going to be a slow rollout, and they still have a lot of work to do as far as getting the servers to a state where it's completely issue-free, and that's going to be continually worked on. But I'm talking about 6 months from now, 9 months from now, even shorter than that, 3 months from now, let's say. You would imagine that there's going to be content rollouts, and this is what I say, the fact that the game got people's foot in the doors at a $40 price point, it was an attractive price point. Now you have a large pool of people playing the game. It's not just because of the price point, it's also because the game's a damn good experience, but you've got a large pool of people to play from. A lot of them aren't going to spend any money on the game, but now you have a larger pool of people that will spend money on the game, and you'll have that recurring investment. I just think that's incredibly smart, and I bring that up because there have been so many live service games like a Skull and Bones, like a Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, that went all greed and went the $70 price tag. They went the early access gimmick, and they went with a monetized aspect to the game as well on top of that. I just feel like with Helldivers 2, it was managed, it's very judicious in terms of the microtransactions that people are actually going to invest back into the experience because they deem it to be worthwhile. But as far as what we could see from the game, scrap up the original roadmap, tear that up, throw it in the trash can, because now the door is completely blown open. The investment level is there from the consumer base, and that's really the issue about drawing up a roadmap. And most live service games have a roadmap drawn up before they officially launch, but you also have to gauge that roadmap based on what your expected level of consumer interest is. Well, Arrowhead obviously had an expected level of consumer interest, but they've blown past all metrics that were expected, so now that roadmap has to be altered accordingly, and now they have so much more resources to work from, so exciting times ahead as far as that's concerned. One unfortunate note that I do want to point out: somebody asked about DLSS, and they did so in kind of a baity way, and the CEO responded so hard to not take the bait. Okay, I'll bite. DLSS, cool tech. It's very cool tech. If you guys don't know, it's deep learning super sampling. It essentially lets older hardware run newer games. It's very, very effective. Very, very good technology. He notes, but not necessary. If I have code time over, I prefer to put that to good use, focusing on the core gameplay as it's what's most important for a game to be successful. This way of thinking seems to have paid off. I don't think it has to be an either-or solution. I'm not saying DLSS has to be implemented overnight, but at some point to allow a larger audience of people on PC to play the game, I don't see why implementing DLSS would be a bad thing. Obviously not in the near future, but down the line, I think it could be something that opens up the game to a larger audience. Again, I don't know the exact investment level it would take to implement DLSS and whether or not it would be a return on the investment, but just to rule it off, I don't completely agree with that, but there you go with that. And also, I do want to make note of this. Arrowhead, again, has been incredible in terms of dialogue to their consumer base, talking to the consumers, talking to the players, so much so that somebody from Arrowhead got locked out of their Discord account because of sending too many DMs too fast. That is because the Helldivers 2 server has over 400,000 people in it, and the Arrowhead employee was getting hundreds of DMs as far as support tickets and whatnot. The CEO tweeted out, "If you don't see any updates from us here, it's because our lovely Baskinator got locked out of her account because of helping too many players with support tickets." Also, total silence from Discord support, which is a different strategy to what we use for Arrowhead Game Studios and Helldivers 2. Obviously, that's working out pretty well for them, and I think that's one of the elements that people have shown Arrowhead a lot of love for, because they have this open form of communication and dialogue to the consumer. I really like that. Even if that open form of dialogue, a lot of the times it's not going to be as open and transparent as, let's say, Arrowhead is, there is some sort of dialogue I think that is reasonable to have with the consumer. I can't have the expectation level, or I just don't have that expectation from the majority of publishers out there. Arrowhead has exceeded above beyond what a lot of other publishers do, but some form of communication and dialogue to the consumers in a transparent manner, I think would do a lot of good. And I thought Larian Studios did a great job with Baldur's Gate 3 as well, and Baldur's Gate wasn't even a game that I really enjoyed. I know, blasphemy for some of you guys new onto the channel from the Helldivers content, but which is not really my cup of tea. I want to give it a shot at some point down the line, but I give them a lot of credit for that open form of dialogue with the consumers, and I thought they did a great job with it, and obviously Arrowhead did a great job with it, so much so that somebody from their team got locked out on Discord, which is just wild to think about. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, as far as the roadmap goes, you really gotta tear the old one up, and we only had a little bit of insight as far as, you know, biomes, enemy types. That's all gonna come, but there's gonna be a lot more stuff that's gonna roll out. Obviously, weapons and everything like that, armor, all that good stuff will be dropping, and DLSS looks like it's not on the table right now. I hope they do change course on that, because that could be great to implement. And as far as their communication goes to the consumers, man, it's been top-notch, so much so that, again, an Arrowhead team member got locked out of their Discord account, which I laugh, but it's kind of wild to think about. That'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.